Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today I would like to share a little unboxing with you guys. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and right up front, this is not going to be a super interesting unboxing. This is a knife, a budget knife, yes. This is my third time purchasing it because I love it just that much. It's also extremely inexpensive, but I am an absolute moron because while I am constantly on my phone, always looking at different online retailers and stuff, I didn't bother checking Amazon to see if I could find this cheaper. It's $55 on Amazon at the moment, and I actually got this from White Mountain Knives, and it was 70 bucks. So I could have saved some money there, but I ended up buying it on White Mountain Knives. I used like a 10% discount code from, I think I used like Lefty10 or someone else's possibly. But I had been working on this all day. This is the Monocolor Knives Assault Team 1. The titanium version. This thing came out freaking sick. You guys will probably see the modification video of this before you're actually seeing the video that you're watching right now, so you already know about this. But flipper tab delete, enlarged finger choil, enough for one knuckle, beautiful 18-degree edge, not a mirror polish, but a very beautifully stropped working edge, and then slightly polished and anodized titanium scales. This is a $40 knife that is available right now on Amazon, and you can't find it anywhere else. I couldn't even tag them on Instagram because they're such a small company. They literally only have like 2 or 3 models, and then 3 different variations of the Assault Team. But yeah, this thing is freaking sick, and it was a project that was really fun to do. I've never done a flipper tab delete, and I think it came out pretty cool. So let's go ahead and let me make a cut off screen real quick. Let's get into this. Nothing super special, but definitely a good solid budget knife that I absolutely could not go without being in the collection. This will be linked down below. I will put the Amazon link and not the White Mountain Knives link because it is not even available on White Mountain Knives anymore. Other colorways are, but this is the one that I prefer the most. This is the C&B Made Knives Predator. And one thing that I do appreciate now, I guess I never did not appreciate it, but I'm so thankful for when companies do include extra goodies like pivot pieces and pocket clip even, and some hardware screws, because the main reason why I repurchased this, and I used to have the white G10 one, eventually I sold it, and then later on I picked up this guy off NAF sale, and I absolutely demolished the freaking, I stripped the life out of those threads on the pocket clip screws. So I haven't been able to use this knife, and I love really everything about it. I mean, I do prefer the grippy, tacky feeling of the micarta now that I've been, using the knife with it. And the G10, from what I remember, it's just way too slick. But honestly, I think I could probably start using it again. But yeah, this is it, and it feels really light for whatever reason. The tension on this feels a whole lot lighter than what it is on, from what I remember, the Omega springs on here are like super heavy duty. They might possibly, you know what, I'm looking at the Omega springs looped around the actual bar itself. They don't look much different in thickness, but I will say that maybe they just get a little stiffer with time, possibly. I don't know. But right out of the box, as you guys just saw, this thing is extremely light on the detent. I don't have a whole lot of room between, my phone and the surface, but I think I could actually like whip it out. Oh yeah, I could. That is so weird. I did not remember this knife having this light of Omega springs on here. Well, you know what? I don't mind it as much. And you know what? I think I might actually be able to get around the slick G10 now that the springs are lighter. I just definitely enjoyed having the strong Omega springs because, I mean, just hear the difference in snap. Let me just shut up for a second. All right. A little bit higher pitched. But yeah, I mean, the Omega springs on this guy, I mean, they're the strongest Omega springs I have ever experienced. And not a single knife in my collection has ever come close to being this good. The only other knife that I could think about is one with an adjustable Omega spring system, like a clutch lock. I have the Kaiser. Let me just pull it out real quick. Hopefully don't knock anything over. This guy right here. Crap, I forgot the name. Something with the K. Towser K. It's right there in the freaking blade. I can't read. But this is the Towser K Mini, the Frag, White Mountain Knives exclusive. It has a clutch lock, 5 different positions for tension. I actually have it smack in the middle because this is what I feel is appropriate for this particular knife with the grip and shape and, you know, everything else. But I've always loved the what's it called, the CMB Manage Predator, because it had such a overbuilt, ultra robust Omega spring system, and the tension just felt insane. I absolutely loved it. But I'm thinking, and this is my plan, I'm gonna be swapping back and forth parts. I love the black blade, but I do enjoy, you know, my acid stone wash that I customize and do a lot on, you know, other knives. That's why I do it so much, mainly because that's really the only blade finish that I can do with the tools that I currently have. But I think I've gotten good enough at it. I mean, just look at that. I mean, I think it looks pretty darn cool, and I love using my knives. Like, when I fall in love with a design and a knife, like, I will use it nonstop, and I'll use it for everything. Of course, cutting tasks, you know, knife appropriate tasks, you know, these aren't screwdrivers or impact tools or really anything else. They are cutting implements. But yeah, that's why I do that finish, and it holds up pretty well. I mean, this one's been beat pretty bad. You can see there are even significantly larger scratches that are actually showing through past the actual scratches that I intentionally put on there. So I'm going to swap pieces. I'm probably going to keep the springs from this guy and just keep the scales, take the hardware for the pocket clip, and just this will just be kind of like a spare parts kind of thing. I'm not really going to be throwing anything away, but this is such a wonderful design, and it's not even anything new. I mean, the Predator has been out, at least the 14C28N version has been out for 2 years now. The D2 variation that it debuted in, it's even older than that. I think it's about 3 years old. But the D2 variation of this is honestly kind of rare nowadays, and it wasn't that much cheaper. But it came out at a bad time. A lot of people were kind of D2'd out, and at this point in time, that's kind of the same story. But there are a couple companies that are bringing back D2, and they're hitting them at higher hardnesses, and D2 could be a pretty tough steel, which is cool. I don't mind sharpening, I don't mind using it. I have never once actually rusted D2. The only blade material that I have ever actually seen corrosion from carry and day-to-day use is uncoated M4 and S35VN and S45VN. Those are the only 3 blade materials I have ever actually had like corrosion happen overnight, or, you know, just a single shift, day shift for me working, having it in my pocket. So just moisture and sweat and being in my hands, I do definitely corrode those easily. I'm not too sure why, but D2, I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. Especially if it stays beneath a, you know, a certain price point. I'm probably not going to pay more than $100 for something with D2. I really have to love the design if I'm going to spend that amount of money for a knife with D2. But when this thing came out, it was just freaking sick. It was 14C28N, well heat treated. It had, you know, the crossbar style lock. It was in a blade shape that was very utilitarian oriented. It's attractive looking, it's inexpensive, relatively cheap. I think when they first came out, they were like 65. But yeah, holy crap. I mean, the springs on here are just, they're just stupid light. Wait a minute. What is that? There are holes in there. No way. I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought completely. There are adjustable holes in here. Holy crap. Let me freaking see if I could take this apart. This is going to be a much longer video than I thought it was going to be. Please bear with me, folks. I don't even know what I was talking about. Let's put this thing out of the way. This has adjustable omega spring tension. Holy shit. I didn't even know that. No one has shown this before. And of course, CMB doesn't make any kind of announcements, even though they have a, you know, I'm assuming multiple platforms on social media where they can communicate to people or through people. I understand that there's a language barrier, but come on, like, this is important. At least to me it is. I mean, I love this model because it's essentially a full-size knife. There goes the body screw. This is essentially a full-size knife that has a cool deployment method. It's relatively thin, beautiful blade shape. Price, again, if I haven't mentioned that already like 30 times. No freaking way. Yeah. So it's not as variable as Kizer that has 5 different tensions. But yeah, it has 3 different tension settings on here. You know what? Let's go ahead and tune this guy up. Why not? I do definitely want it to be a little bit stronger because it's not doing it for me right now. It's pretty floppy. This feels like what was that shit show? The Kunwu Chad. Yeah, I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for that thing, but that was one of the most beautifully executed knives. The only thing that really brought that down for me was how weak the omega springs were. Those omega springs had no right to be on such a beautiful knife, and it's really unfortunate that Kunwu isn't making or isn't planning, at least to my knowledge, to make the effort to actually update those springs. And for some people, like, they don't mind it, but the thing is that the Chad's blade is so thick and heavy that with just the slightest little flip of the wrist, not that you're really going to be doing that with your knives often, but it wasn't a good feeling knowing how easily you can just like flop the knife out like that. I didn't like it. Oh, are these pieces glued together? Oh no, it's coming out from the other side. Shit. Okay. This is gonna take a lot longer than I wanted to, but at least I found out something really cool and honestly pretty important, at least to me. On the brand new Predators, you do get adjustable omega spring tension, which is really cool. They didn't just leave this model in the past. They've done some slight updates to it. As far as I know, that's probably the only update they've done to it so far. Same jimping on the little like 3rd length backspacer. The tip, I mean, ooh, hey, what's that? I could actually feel that tip. After a sharpening or two, I probably won't feel it anymore. Can I do it on this? No. Okay, so that's another little difference right there. The tip on this one is sunken down and I can't feel it. This one, I mean, it is right there. Let me see if I could. Oh, check that out. Oh, ow. Okay, I gave myself a couple little cuts there, but for science purposes, it was worth it. Yeah, it's right there, very well sharpened. But I have relatively thick callus that didn't break through, but I could definitely see the little lines there. But okay, this is gonna be longer than it needs to be. I'll do this off camera, but super important things you kind of got to need to be concerned about. If you have a older model that, you know, maybe you got like a a year or two ago when the first came out with the 14C. If you get a new one, just be wary of those things, but I'm going to be mix and matching parts now to make my ultimate Predator. And yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. I most definitely appreciate all your support and your patience, of course. If you are not subscribed, consider subscribing because I play more videos and content coming you guys' way. And with that being said, have a wonderful rest of your day.